Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to today's video. Firstly, I hope you've all been keeping well and staying safe during these turbulent times. Now remember, we've all we've got, so be sure to look after one another. Now within today's video, I'm actually going to give you my 3, maybe 4 tools that I use to better understand and better learn about the individual that's either in front of you, a potential client or prospect, your existing clients, or better yet, just your family and friends. Now, you will see that this is leaning on both sides of the woo-woo and as well the scientific proven literature to confirm that these are certain personality types that you and I both have. But at the end of the day, it actually comes down to the individual who's actually going to consume that content, the person who's open-minded to just these tools. So as an example of having that open mind, let me start off with a question here. We all know that the world is round, and that we've been taught, we've been given multiple impressions throughout our years that we have proven evidence that the world is round. But have we actually, for ourselves, physically and mentally experienced it and seen it from, say, the moon? Most often than not, a lot of us here would say no. We would have to take what was given as granted. But as well, if you look at the arguments that the people make that the Earth is flat, they too make something that's very, very compelling. But again, because we've been given that proven model that the Earth is round, it's a sphere shape, that we automatically just remove whatever the notion is on the flat Earth sides without even taking that into consideration. However, if we have an open mind between the two, then we can come up with a conclusion, and ultimately it comes down to you and I. So in this instance, I'm going to do the same thing, and I don't know why I've actually gone through both the flat Earth theory and as well the round Earth theory that we have, but it's probably to prove a little bit more of the concepts that I use on profiling and personality types. So the first one that I'm going to push out there is actually a tool that I use and I enjoy using, which is called our horoscopes. So whenever I speak to a client, or if we are bringing on a client or a prospect, I ask them for their birth dates. So tell me, what is your either star sign or when were you born? And you probably be greeted with a, hang on, wait, what? Why are you asking me about this? But it's always a good conversation starter to actually go through their star sign. And when they go, what do you need that for? You can either tell them, number one, and be upfront, and this is what I would encourage you to do if you are looking to use these tools, is to tell them that you want to know them a little bit more. You want to understand the personality types, so then you guys can speak to each other on a more connected and as well deeper level than trying to be sort of surface level, which is a waste of time in my opinion. As an example, for me, I'm a Gemini, and I'm sure you can tell by these videos, I'm just someone who just goes 24/7, doesn't stop thinking, can multitask in multiple things. And again, some of these examples could be used generically across all star signs. But for me, in going off the reflection that I've done, not only with myself and my partner, but just all the people that I have around me, those personality types or those star signs, really resonate with those types of individuals that are around me. Now, again, could this be interpreted completely different? Could certain traits be shown across multiple star signs? Absolutely. But again, it's always how you interpret the conversation, interpret the data, and being able to apply that. So for me, I'm a Gemini. My partner, on the other hand, is a Taurus. And what's very consistent with Tauruses is that they are very grounded. They're very earthy nature. And when they do speak, which is quite rare, they actually speak a hell of a lot of worth and a hell of a lot of value within that conversation. So again, these are some of the traits that we have. Scorpios, which I have a plethora of within my family, they're the most loving type of people, but if you get on the bad side, their stinger comes out. Some of the stuff that they say in the heat of the moment is very direct and very poignant. So again, using that reflection, identifying people around you, and using the horoscopes, it's always a good thing to use. So number one, horoscopes. Second one that I use is actually called the Myers-Briggs test. Now what I'll do is I'll leave a link down below on you going through a free Myers-Briggs test. It's called 16 personalities, and it's really, really cool to identify that using, again, this metric can showcase the strengths that you have, showcase the blind spots that you have, but also give you a better understanding of who you are as an individual. And again, if you use that with your clients or send that link over to your clients to play around with, so to speak, learning a little bit more about them and how they are within this sort of framework is really going to help you build that connection, build a rapport, and possibly just really speak at the level that they can interpret. So a good friend of mine uses this phrase, and that he says that he doesn't speak to the person individually, but he speaks to the voice inside their head. And in this instance, you could probably do the same thing where people aren't necessarily conscious of that voice in their head. But if you know a little bit more about them, use the Myers-Briggs test, use something like the horoscopes, it can give you that edge and give you that in to potentially move forward with the business that you have, or just learning a little bit more about that individual which makes you feel good. So within the Myers-Briggs test, I am actually an ENFP. Now I won't go through that detail because there's a hell of a lot of detail that I can go through. I'll leave that link down below so then you can go through it and read through it on your own time and understand how powerful that tool is. So the next tool that I will use is actually called the Gallup Strengths Test. Now this one was pretty cool and introduced to me a couple of years ago, where I thought that certain specific strengths that I had was quite prevalent in what I do day in, day out. But what I'd realized was that I was probably trying to put as much effort as I can into strengths that weren't necessarily my strengths. So I have all these innate strengths that I have, but I just was probably ignoring it because I thought that this was the route that I should be going to. But again, using these tools here, not only for yourself, but also your clients, can really identify, number one, those strengths that are innately built into you, and also the blind spots that you have that you can probably get someone else to facilitate that. I won't dive into too much detail, but using the Gallup Strengths Test, link would be down below. Go through it and actually see how that works for you and as well your clients. Now I did say I was going to give you 3 tools at the start, but actually there is a 4th one. And that 4th one actually is in you at the moment, and that's the gut instinct. That is something where you would feel is either right or wrong with either the conversation you have, the interaction that you have with the person, or better yet, just that feeling you have moving within that space of that individual, whether it be the energy, whether it be the surroundings, whether it be the environments. If something isn't right, or if something doesn't feel right, then most often than not, it's the case. Now, is there any way that I can prove this scientifically? Nah, no way. And as well, I think a lot of people throughout the years, thousands of years, have tried to prove it, but it's just something that we can't explain. One day, will we be able to prove scientifically the fact that the gut is actually either good or bad? It actually makes good decisions or bad decisions? Probably not, or at least not in my lifetime. But the fact of having an open mind, being able to really understand that the gut is actually a good navigator or a good compass internally, it's also a really good tool that you can use that can help with learning more about your clients, learning more about the person around you, family and friends. Yeah, it's a good tool that you probably won't use for this specific example, but there could be times or scenarios where you go, the gut isn't feeling too right, or better yet, the gut is actually feeling good about this situation, it's feeling good about this person, certain signs and signals that aren't communicated verbally. You could get that good feeling that, you know what, something just feels good about this relationship, something just feels good about this conversation. So again, out of the 3 tools, the 4th one, in my opinion, would probably be the most beneficial, the most, how would I explain it? It just feels right. It feels right to give this information. It feels right to say the gut feel is the one that we should be going off, and it should be our internal compass. So anyway, that's the video for today. I hope you guys got some value from it. I hope you guys understood the tools that I use to better learn about my clients. Again, horoscopes, the Myers-Briggs test, and as well the strengths test. But ultimately, I think what surpasses a lot of that is our internal profiling radar, which would be our gut instinct. So let me know how you guys go down below in the comment section. So let me know if these are tools that you actually currently use at the moment, or if these aren't tools but you're willing to actually go through it. And better yet, see how you go with the results down below. Anyway, hope you guys have all been keeping well and staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye.